Hey everybody, it's Tony Zayas and Andy Halko from Insivia, and today we're going to talk some SEO. We got our periodic table here visible on the screen. So Andy, tell us a little bit about this. I think this is a super useful way of looking at all the factors which can get complex and confusing real fast.
Yeah, and if you're out there looking just under tools, SEO periodic table, you can find this, and it's a nice interactive experience that I think helps explain a little bit. We talk about SEO, there's two big factors: on page and off page. These you can kind of learn about. On page is really where we look at optimizing your website, and off page, which you can learn a little bit about, is really where there are factors influencing your site like popularity, relevance, authority, and there's different reasons that do that. And the nice thing is that the SEO periodic table, what kind of makes it unique to me is just how it helps break it down and organize it for you.
Yeah.
On page is content, architecture, and then HTML or technology, and you can get an understanding of that. Content is king, we've heard for a long time. Architecture, they have to be able to, search engines find and read and understand your site. And then HTML, the tags and the technical piece, it has to be built well, right? And then off page, you've got things like trust and links, your personal, which is about where is that person, and then social. And then each of these breaks down into different things. Like content, we can see based off of these colors, really their impact. So quality, everyone, I think at this point, if you've heard about or talked about SEO, original quality content, research, making sure that the content shows that it's actually got knowledge behind it, right? And then down into each of these other pieces where we look at something like HTML, the headers on the page. Everybody's probably, if you've been in SEO, you hear about the H1s and H2s, right? It's not at the top of the list, but it's somewhere down here and influences you. And then even into your red ones that are negative things, there's the old tactics of stuffing keywords in a page, which back in the day, what people would do is they'd take the keywords and they'd, just fill every single paragraph with the keyword, or they'd have hidden content where they would basically come in and on a white background, they would make the text white, thin over here in the content side, if it's very thin content, so there's only 5 sentences on the page, there's a bunch of these different things that can be negatives. And so to your point, I think the great thing about the periodic table is that it really helps organize all of these different things, to just get a better understanding of what influences search, so that you can make decisions about what you're doing with your SEO.
Yeah, and how would you say the SEO in today's world, do you think what changes in this table? Like as we move forward and there's different, Google starts looking at sites differently and incorporating new factors. What do you see changing, if anything, in this table?
I mean, there's an interesting, whenever I've done these seminars, when I talk about SEO, I think there's just transparently this really core factor that never changes is, let's be honest, that Google has to make money. They've got investors and other folks, and the lion's share of their revenue comes from ads.
Yeah.
And the only way, what we've seen is that I think between 18% of people tend to click on the ads. So they know that of the amount of traffic that they drive to Google search, 18% of that's going to click on ads, and that's going to equal revenue. And so their goal is to get more people to search as often as possible, because they just know that if they get more people searching, that they're going to do that. And when you come down to it, what gets people searching more is that they find their answers, the right answer, as quickly as possible. And so that to me then breaks down into, relevancy and quality, that they are trying to make sure they're pulling the most relevant thing to what you're searching, and they're pulling the highest quality thing that's going to help answer or provide a solution and solve a pain, right? And so when you break it down that it's about relevancy and quality, a lot of these things don't change. Their algorithm changes in how they determine that, that over time they're slightly saying, oh, well, we realize if people have links from these types of sites, the relevancy is probably not as good. So we're going to downgrade that. But it doesn't mean that links from other websites no longer matter, because there is something that defines relevancy. You having links and having more links into a page, there is a signal of relevancy there because other folks have determined that they care about it. What they might change in the algorithm is how do they rank which links matter more or less. And so I think when you come back to this understanding of the, core structure of their business model into, if they're delivering relevant quality results, they're going to get more people, they're going to get more ad clicks, they're going to make more revenue, that a lot of these factors don't end up changing. If anything, it's just, how much do they influence?
Yeah.
And then I think their system getting smarter at figuring out, what is the matter, right? Just a great example is like links on spam websites are considered negative, and Google had a process to say you can submit if you think these links are spammy to them. You don't have to do that anymore because their AI is smart enough to know these are spammy links and these aren't spammy links, right? So our tactics have changed, but theoretically, it's really just their algorithm has gotten much smarter with AI to figure out when a link is spam or not spam, so that there's no action you necessarily have to take to do it, right?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And one of the reasons I mentioned that is I think a lot of people are trying to brace and understand your mention of AI, of how that influences search and Google's results and what they put out. And now they share the little AI snippets that are found. And so obviously we're going through a lot of transformation. But I think you definitely make a good point in that the fundamentals do not change. I think we've seen early on the concern was, how would Google treat AI produced content? And everyone kind of braced for that. And what I think we found is that if it's quality, high quality, and relevant, Google doesn't care if it was made by a bot or by a human. If humans consume it and get value out of it and use Google search to find that destination and keep coming back, Google will continue to serve that up. So that's
Well, and I think that the model with AI is the same as search results. It's just a different delivery method. If I'm doing AI, what do I want? Relevancy and quality. I'm asking a question. I need something. I want it to be a relevant answer to what I asked. And I want it to be a quality answer in some way, that it's like answering it correctly and it's thorough and it's, providing background. And so, Google's still going to monetize AI because they have to, but people keep asking, like, what is this big change that you have to do for AI? And if you come back to this basis of relevance and quality, they're the exact same things.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be interesting of, that change to, obviously, you were talking about like generating AI content. There is still this aspect that quality, right? It has to still be quality. There has to be good research behind it. I mean, Google is still going to prioritize content that is smart and has good research. And my point is that if you do original research and you've determined something unique from your audience, or you've done a research paper, whether you write it with AI to just do the process faster, again, if it is quality and you've got that research in there that's unique, and you're able to back those points up, and they're using their systems to understand, okay, based off of what this person put in here, I can tell that it's quality, it's got good information behind it. It will rank in search and it will show up in AI.
Yep.
The other things on this page I just think are nice to look at is, they talk about the EAT model. So we've kind of explained that a little bit in here, is experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness equal rank success. And you can kind of learn a little bit about what does experience mean. So, the author or creator has a personal firsthand experience with the topic. So when they look at it, they want to make sure that that first E is that whoever is writing this has some sort of authority with it, right? Expertise. So the author has specialized knowledge and training. Again, this is coming back to what we just said. Relevant and quality. Authority. The website is recognized by others. So that's that, both a quality signal and a relevancy signal. And then trust, the website and content is truthful, accurate, informational, and shows transparency. So I think, when people talk about trying to rank, again, we just keep coming back to this quality, relevance, and there are, these specific signals, and then there's this high level of, it starts with having a great, having experience, having expertise, authority, and trust.
Awesome.
And then just kind of the final thing that we've got here, if you want to learn about SEO, inbound links is always this, you'll hear from some SEOs today, oh, it doesn't matter as much. Again, I think it comes back to this like really simple concept of relevancy and quality, and that, links still matter. It's just how Google determines that they matter that has changed. And so some of the old tactics don't work, like spammy links and stuff like that. But I always like to explain it in this model is, start by imagining you have 100 people in a room and they're looking for SaaS website design. Go, who's the best for SaaS website design? And if 10 of those people point at this person and 90 of those people point at me, who do you think is more relevant for SaaS website design? And if we look at it in the world of the web, it's the same thing with links. If I have an article on SaaS web design and there are 90 websites that are linking back to mine, and then someone else has one on their site and they only have 10 sites linking to it, there is a signal there to Google that one of those must be more quality and relevant than the other.
Yeah.
I think the challenge that Google has gotten into is getting better at determining those people and how influential they should be. Because in the old days, it used to be about the volume, so 90 counted. Today, it may be a little bit more complex, that within this group of 10, maybe there is a professor of SaaS or something like that, and they're linking to you, and Google's saying, oh, well, that person's worth 30 links, right? And then this one. And so it's just that the equation has changed, that in the old day, it was about building links. Today, it's more about making sure that you have good ones. And, that's a whole different strategy and equation than just trying to get volume.
Yeah, I've always looked at, backlinks as reputation, and your backlink profile is kind of, how reputable are you? How does the rest of the internet see your website? Whereas, your on-page factors, that's what does your site say about your business. What does everybody else say is, the off site? And so, yeah, it'll always matter and be relevant. How relevant and how it's factored in is going to change. But I think this is a really good description to help people understand kind of how it all works.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, this little layout here too, let's say you want to rank for ed tech marketing agency, and you've got these 3 websites or backlinks. Joe writes an article about ed tech for a major news website. So say he got hired by CNN to write about the growth of ed tech, and he mentions you and links to you, right? Rachel, on the other hand, is a small education website. CNN over here, or whatever the site is, gets millions of views. Hers, she maybe only gets 30 or 40 views a month, right? But she's written 10 articles about you in tech education, and keeps featuring your company over and over. And her whole website is about education versus that major publisher has a wide range of topics, right? And then you've got this third bucket, like Nick blogs about cars, conspiracy theories, and cooking, and he's added a link randomly, because he wanted to reference something that he saw on your site, like that, right? And
Nick
so
sounds
the
like
interesting
fun.
thing is, what'd you say?
Nick sounds like fun.
Nick does sound like fun. But, this is where I start to look at the complexity of Google, and what people don't understand today is what's happened is, in the old days, it was just you have 3 links to your site. Today, they're looking at all these factors, and it actually might be Rachel that provides you more value than anyone else. And that if you get linked on here, it's just giving you no value at all. And so it's one of those things that the old days of just trying to get a link anywhere you could is gone. And even today, with Google's algorithm being so smart, there is complexity in understanding which links are going to give you more juice. Is it the major news site with millions of views because they've got a lot of reputation? Or is it Rachel, who's got a lot of authority and trust in the industry, right?
Yeah.
And to be transparent, no one knows Google's algorithm and exactly how they're measuring these pieces. So there's no like book that says, oh, I got a link on here, it's going to be worth this. But we at least do know authority, expertise. She's got that good EAT model. This major news publisher may have, they've got a lot of relevancy. They have some. So there's probably good value in those 2, 0 value in the third. But those are the things that we think about.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting way to understand it and look at it. So very cool. Well, good discussion here. Hope you found that valuable and understanding, the world of SEO and kind of how things are changing, but also at the same time staying the same. So very cool. Thanks, Andy. We'll be back again soon with another show, and see you guys then. Take care.